Okay. So that's what I'm feeling is coming through the strongest. The way that you are carrying yourself in the ways that you communicate. We have here the magician. This is one of the best card as it deals with communication. It indicates somebody who's very eloquent with their speech, somebody who has who has like a voice of authority. So even if you are not in a position of power, like you're not a manager, a supervisor, a CEO, a head of a company, you still have a lot of power, persuasion, and the ability to intelligently narrate, provide advice, to narrate. So you speak with an air of authority on a specific topic. And I do feel people around you, they listen to you mainly because they trust you. So this is a very good card that indicates your communication sector is opening up, and it's opening up not in a way where, you are limited as to whether or not you can, I guess, like express concepts, either abstract or concrete concept. This is an encapsulation of all the elements. So, he has like everything on the table. So the suit of pentacles, cups, as well as swords and wands. So this is somebody who is able to, I guess, like synthesize all of their life experience, all the things that they've learned, as well as, the things that was passed down to them, so that they can holistically get their point across using a myriad of anecdotes through their lifetime. They have collected a lot of practical as well as even institutional knowledge, so that they can communicate in a way that allows other people to trust them and to trust in their expertise. So if you are doing any type of public speaking engagement, this is a card that is telling you to look into this sector as it relates to your career. Okay. And if you're in any type of position where you are kind of like in the public limelight, so I do see teachers, politicians, community like advocates, people doing some type of where they're kind of like on center stage all the time. They have to give other people directives, and they have to also project an air of competency. And I'm seeing like a loud voice. You guys are not usually somebody who's like aggressive, but I feel like there is a moment coming through for this month as it relates to your work environment, where you are going to have to kind of like exert that air of authority in the work environment. Okay. And so it's a great card for salespeople. It's a great card for people who are giving seminars, who work in a communications type of field. Communication is, it deals with language, it deals with voice, it also deals with publishing, printing as well. So anything that you put on paper, anything that you try to communicate with the general population, it is going to be very, very well received. Okay. I do feel like for some of you, the career sector is showing up heavily in your relationship. So let me just say this. This is a card about somebody possibly working two jobs, okay? So one main gig and one side gig, or doing two side gigs to piece together a full-time job. This is a card that basically is telling you about, the work-life, personal life balance. And I do feel here for some of you, you have entered into, some type of a new relationship, and it's solid, it's very stable, and you want to take things to the next level. But I do feel, because both of these cards are in, opposition to one another, it basically is telling you that there are going to be challenges when it comes to your work sector, either the hours or either the financial income that's coming through, that's going to affect the relationship. So this is something, coming in early that you might want to try to flush out, okay? Getting your work situation in a more of a stable, consistent manner, getting the appropriate rest and getting the proper time off. So, the proper weekends off, or the proper, just the proper vacation days off, so that you can devote that to your relationship sector. So it's telling you to balance the personal life and the work life, all right? I'm also feeling that some of you might have had a very, a relationship where responsibilities might have been very one-sided. So one person might have been doing all the work, and then the other person either contributed, financially, or did not contribute at all. So I feel like a very wobbly environment in your past as it relates to some type of a relationship that you were in. And because of that, you really like you enjoy your alone time, you enjoy your company. And so it's a little bit of a challenge trying to incorporate another person into your life. I'm seeing some of you, you might be like single coming through this year, trying to adopt a new pet, or with like 1 or 2 kids, and you're inundated with a lot of responsibilities. But I feel like this is like the month of March was a very pivotal month where things start to stabilize. And also, it's almost like you got yourself into a very good routine, and then having another person, a relationship partner, especially in your romantic sector, I feel like it's also eating away or chipping away at that sense of normalcy. So you're not really sure how much to invest, and you're trying to find that good balance, okay? In your housing sector, we have here the Ace of Cups, and it did show up in the reverse position. This is the card in which there might have been like a major falling out within the household unit. So this can also deal with in-laws. It can also deal with, a relationship partner if you have been living with them. There is some type of, they're saying like a housing situation that needs to be sorted out for this month. So with the Ace of Cups, this is something that is ideal. It's the ideal love. And if it falls into your 4th house, which is family, I do sense falling out between family members. So, be very careful about the way you communicate. And honestly, pick your battles. You are coming in very persuasive. So I don't feel like you're going to be backing down from something that needs to be said, from like stating the truth or stating your case to a family member. And as a result of that, I feel like it can create hurt feelings as well. But I feel that you're in a position where you need to give somebody a piece of your mind in your family unit. And as a result of that, it can create this rift. And I feel like you might have been dealing with this rift for quite some time. Okay. For some of you, I do feel like possibly health news as it relates to a member of your family. And I do see younger pets. I do see like, younger or older pets. I do see younger children. I do see like, under the teenage years, like from 12 and below. So some issues here regarding just they're saying like unconditional love when it comes to family members. It's almost like you're telling somebody you should do it this way. This is the right way to do it. And no matter what, they're not listening to you. Okay. So if it's not your child that you're dealing with, I feel like you need to take more of a hands-off parenting approach. And then for others of you, the living environment is becoming a little bit unbearable, and you're trying to explore new housing options. So I do feel here, this is traditionally what I consider new projects, but also new housing arrangements. So I'm sensing many of you are in a housing situation. It's becoming a little bit stifling. It could be, issues with neighbors, landlords is what I'm feeling as well, or being in an environment where you don't feel that sense of peace. Okay, so water signs are deeply very home body oriented. And when you come home, you want it to be a place of safety and a place of comfort and like a refuge for you. But there's something here, there's some type of discord in your neighborhood or in your environment where it's not making you feel like it's the ideal situation anymore. So you are possibly thinking about exploring other housing opportunities. Okay. If you have been looking at houses and new apartments or new, change of scenery, it is going to be coming through for you. And I also feel like at this point, you might have stayed for the past 2 years at a job, mainly so that you could get that, the job stability or the security so that you can get yourself into a new home. And if that's the case, I feel like it's going to pan out for you. All right. So I do see new housing arrangements coming through. I do see a living situation that's not ideal and you want to break free from it. And you are at a point where you are making quite a bit of money. And so you're telling yourself, why not? On the one hand, I have the security. If for those of you who might be living with like parents or grandparents, I feel that this is the month in which you're trying to branch out so that you can get your own space. And I feel like you're looking at greener pastures. Like once I have my own space, I have all this room, I have all this freedom, I can get a pet, I can have more children and things like that. So I'm seeing some major goals being reached here for the month of April. I'm seeing a lot of people possibly like living with parents or living with a family situation where there are, you know, like generational family members that are in the same environment. So I feel like you are at a point where you're making quite a bit of money. Your financial situation is going to stabilize for this month. And so I feel like you're thinking about renting your own space or even sharing space with a friend or with like a coworker or something like that. So that's going to pan out really, really well for you. For those of you who have your own property, I feel more of cocooning type of energy. So you're trying to break out. You're trying to do more outdoor activities. You're trying to, you know, connect with new people and form your new group association so that you can have a little bit more, I guess, like freedom of movement when it comes to, you know, feeling a little bit more welcome and embedded in your community. With the Ace of Wands coming through, this is a card greatly about, you know, outdoor activities as well as like hiking. I do see a lot of working out, but doing so in a more outdoors type of environment rather than a gym. So I feel that there is going to be, you know, new partnerships being formed surrounding recreational activities. And I also feel for some of you, you might be dabbling in multiple projects. There is another person coming through with a third project. It seems very exciting and fun, and I feel like you are going to take on new additional projects to make money, but also because you feel like it's going to be a challenge and it's going to be quite fun for you. I do feel don't overwork and don't stretch yourself too thin for this month. I do sense some of you, I do see a lot of allergic reactions. I do feel as well you know, rest and restoration is going to be needed for you, and especially towards the tail end of April, okay? I'm seeing like fevers, and, you know, we are heading into the time of Aries. It's a fire sign, so it greatly rules the head, and I do see like, you know, head fevers as well as migraines. Those things can be kicked up. So just be a little bit careful, get lots of fluids, and make sure, like, you know, if you're doing physical activities, don't push yourself too hard, okay? So I do sense that coming through, like fevers, headaches, and also head flus as well, like allergies, congestion, and things like that associated with the sinus passages and the head. So take good care of your health. Keep yourself, you know, hydrated, okay? In terms of your career, let me talk about this. This is a situation where we are working behind the scenes and we're not really sure if we're making progress or if we're getting the compensation or the accolades or the positive reception that we deserve, okay? Sometime for this month, you're going to want to step away from the background, like the backdrop, and you're going to be put into a position where you're going to be able to have other people look up to you. And I feel some of you, you know, you're very good at a career where I feel like you don't shy away from hard work. You're really okay working behind the scenes and making sure things are taken care of logistically so that events, so that the workflow can, you know, can flow really well. But this is the month in which you are questioning the validity of what you're doing. So I do see as well, they are saying, you know, the ego space, operating from an ego space. So just be a little bit careful about that, okay? It is also, you know, the April timeframe is going to bring in that retrograde cycle for Mercury, and Mercury deals with communication, and it's going to last until until May 3rd. So your communication sector looks very strong, but I do feel that the people around you, especially in the work environment, they might undervalue the contributions that you're making to the work project. And so just, you know, let the energy pass. Don't kick up anything. Don't get confrontational, okay? But I feel like there is an element here about, you know, are we on the right track when it comes to our career? What do we do now? What other behind the scenes project can we get involved in? And I also feel like some of you might be working in a more clandestine type of an operation, doing research behind the scenes, okay? Doing something that you can't reveal to the public. So this can be laying down the groundwork, preliminary groundwork for a major project to take off. or even doing like cost benefits analysis. I'm seeing a lot of people doing analysts research as well as investigative types of work. And this is also a work where there's a lot of paperwork involved as well. So you might be even be in some type of therapy work where there's a lot of like backlogged items that needs to be documented, or a lot of things that needs to it's almost like rushing to finish up reports so that you can submit them and close out cases. So case managers, researchers, investigators, and I'm seeing people that might be working behind the scenes a lot, sending out payments for clients, for example, so that you can get, the full amount paid up front. So that's what you're spending the majority of the month catching up on, wrapping up old projects so that you can fully start into new things. Okay, so it's a really good energy, and I feel like there's quite a bit of money to be had that can be coming through for a lot of you. So I see a lot of wrapping up old things and starting new things as well at the same time. So make sure you don't stretch yourself too thin. Don't burn the midnight oil, and be careful about, towards the last week of the month, take very good care of your health. Okay. Take your vitamins, and especially just get in a lot of water, because I feel like we're heading into warmer months for those of us in the northern hemisphere. So I feel like if you're outside overtaxing yourself, it might wreak its havoc on you. Okay, as a water sign, you need to rehydrate and get plenty of fluid in your system. One of your fears that I'm feeling here is a situation where a lot of you might have in the past experienced a work environment where you feel like you were underpaid or underemployed. So it felt almost as if your skills weren't properly utilized. And you're also telling yourself as well that you don't want to fall back into this rut. You don't want to fall back into this position. And I do sense for some of you, there might have been schooling situations that for whatever reason, you couldn't finish up, or you didn't finish up. And for whatever reason that is, so you're still thinking about that. I don't feel you starting anything right now in the schooling sector, but you're heavily thinking about, do I really need to go back to school so that I can, get myself into a position where I'm not underpaid and underemployed? So you're heavily thinking about skills upgrade, learning a new course, possibly a new language, or even learning I'm seeing like accounting system, or even like learning a new software. So spending time even in the work environment, refreshing your skills, or taking up like new courses so that you can learn a new skills as it relates to something that you're doing in the work front. What I'm also sensing as well is I'm feeling some of you are having almost this I'm seeing like dreams of lands far away, and you're trying to get your financial situation in order so that you can take a major trip. So I feel like you want to do it. You might have wanted to do it in February, but for some reason, you might have been waiting for another person to take the trip with. And this is the month in which you might be talking very casually, in a preliminary way, with another person, and you're trying to run some ideas by them. Like, do you want to go here? Do you want to go here? And I feel like you're dreaming about faraway lands. I'm honestly seeing this image of you guys on a recliner, having like a drink, like just sitting in a living room on a recliner, watching TV, and you're seeing like clear waters. You're seeing like snow-covered mountains. You're seeing like foreign lands. You're seeing lands that are far away, very exotic. And I feel like you want to be there. And a lot of the hesitation that you have, honestly, it's because you feel like you couldn't do it alone. You either were waiting on another person to do it with, or you're just like, oh, it's a pipe dream. And I feel like there might have been financial constraints. There might have been housing constraints too, where you can't easily relocate, right? But this is the month in which those dreams are coming back in, where you might tell yourself, it's totally doable. And honestly, I feel like it is definitely doable, but you don't know how to take that first step. And so they're really urging you. Everything you need is right in front of you, right? And like all the planning that needs to do. trips don't just happen on a whim. We really need to plan for it, and especially if we're not living in like, financial abundance, we are going to need to plan for it even more. So it might take 2 months for you to start saving, for you to start planning in order for this trip to happen. But I feel like some of you are just wanting to get away. So there's a lot of little trips taken here and there, and they're going to inspire you to take that big trip. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people going to like retreat centers or even taking like weekend, getaways. And these little trips are really going to inspire you to take the plunge and, go for that big trip that might take like 2 months to plan. It might happen for you in the summer time frame, but with this card here, it's basically you're deciding on something and you're just like, I'm not going to let my fears get the most of me. I'm going to do it, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in 2 months time. So I feel like you're laying out some type of a game plan in order to make education happen as well as a big trip for yourself. Okay. So we have some really good energies. I haven't seen it this strong for you guys for the past 3 months, and I was getting worried. But I feel like this is the month in which, financially things will straighten themselves out. You have a really good power of attraction about you. For those of you who are single, some of you are taking relationships to the next level, wanting to make an offer here for something a little bit more solid, for something a little bit more stable. You're trying to break out of your comfort zone, and you're trying to, I feel like, when I think about Pisces, I think a lot of you guys, you're also like that extension of Aquarius where you care deeply about people and you care about people in a very emotional way. Aquarius, they know how to detach. But I feel like because you care so much, you might also want to watch your boundaries. But this is the month, I feel, where your energy is coming in very, very strongly. You don't have issues here when it comes to boundaries, because the past 3 months has been about scrapping away what's no longer working. This is the month in which you are overcoming the negative self-talk, all the, self-doubt that you have been kind of like inundated with. Those things are chipping away. And I do sense for some of you, a lot of it has to do with, entering a school environment where you're coming to terms with people who are like-minded. They're inspiring you. And then for others, it's sort of like sitting on that recliner, thinking about what you want your life to look like, but not taking the solid steps to do that for the past 3 months. You're going to do it this month. Okay. And the energy is highly supportive. If it doesn't work out, do it again. So I feel like it's happening in a Mercury retrograde cycle, because this has been something that you were thinking about heavily for the past 4 months. It's coming back in. It can't be ignored. You need to do it. And it starts here with a house move. It starts here with travel. It starts here with finishing up something that you couldn't finish up at a later time. Okay. So you have some really good energies here at Pisces.